Alright, so just comment down for your attendance. So I have seen 10 students here online. So welcome to lesson 1. Comment down your name for the attendance. And if you want to answer later, just comment down for you to save your data. So yung gawin natin kapag may recitation mamaya, just comment down your answer on the comment section and no need to go on screen. At least makasave kayo ng data. Anyway, our online class will only take place once a week lang tayo. Then, yung once a week na yun, entire lesson, then GC na tayo, no? We'll only meet online just once in a week. Then after that, all the questions and all your requirements will be sent and other concerns will be done through our group chat, okay? Para makasave kayo ng data. So we'll wait for the others. We are now 25. Yes, please, Amira Mamalu, please. Yes, include your section. Okay, your section. Because I am checking your attendance. Always include your section on the comment box. Your name and your section. Okay? So we will wait for the others for 5 minutes. We will wait for the others for 5 minutes and we will start. So again, no need na mag-appear sa screen if you want to recite. Just comment down your answer later on sa ating just comment down on the right section or on the comment section. Anong klase nyo, Bagong Bayan? Okay, so I guess we're almost complete. Anyway, if you're late and if some of your classmates will be late, you could still watch this video. Okay? You could still watch this video and you are still allowed to answer. Ito yung kinaganda sa ating online class. You are not being pressured kasi anytime pwede niyong balikan yung lesson at pwede kayong magsagot anytime. I will not force you that. Maliban na lang sa mga requirements natin na isi-send ko later, uh, those requirements will be having a deadline. Okay? So, pwede naman, okay, Bagong Bayan, if you have classes in other subjects, pwede naman kayo magbalik mamaya, no? Balik-balik lang. Then, just watch this video later. Okay? Ito yung kinaganda bakit StreamYard and why we use YouTube as our modality or as our partnership or partner with this online class is that pwede niyong balikan yung mga lesson natin if you miss it. Okay, so very good. Andyan nakita ko marami nag-attendance. So I guess we will start. Okay. So good morning everyone. Welcome to our lesson 1. So, welcome to our lesson 1, language and its nature, under Purposive communication class. Anyway, last meeting, we have prior discussion about communication. We have discussed why do people communicate, what are the problems being encountered during communication, bakit nagkakaroon ng mga misconception, misinterpretation, and you've shared a lot of ideas about it, like it's about the different culture, or maybe the barriers. No, we also mentioned the barriers. We also mentioned the barriers, why there are problems occur in terms of communication. um, we also discuss what will happen to the world without communication. Of course, most of you answered that if there are no, or if there is no communication, chaos will happen. There will be a war, there will be a misunderstanding, conflict, and that's actually one of the reasons or one of the effects if there is no communication. Therefore, communication is indeed vital. It's important to human lives. No, that's why we have the subject purposive communication. And still, I am your teacher. I'm Mr. Jaime Boy Yung Jr. Same teacher with your in your Philippine history. Now, let's proceed. So, what to expect, or what are the objectives of this lesson? One, you're going to explain the linguist's views on language and its nature. Because in this lesson, we will be encountering different linguists, different theories. So you're going to explain them. Second, identify and differentiate essential constructs in relation to language. We are going to differentiate um, the similarity and the difference among this construct or relation in language. And we have here, the last one is, you're going to fill out a biodata form and create their language biography. So this will be your, or there will be some activities as we go along on this discussion. And activities will be sent through our group chat. Again, activities will be sent through our group chat. But later, kung may mga recitation, yung you are allowed, yung gina-oblige ko sa inyo na i-comment nyo here is only for your recitation. It's not actually for the assessment. But it has still points. Recitation has still points. Since we're not in face-to-face modality and some of you have poor internet connection. So ang gagawin na natin is just simply write your answer or comment down your answer on this comment section and that will be checked. So ang maganda dito is anytime kayo pwedeng magsagot sa ating comment section as to the question sa ating recitation. Now, I hope these objectives are clear to everybody. So these are the things that we really expect to happen. So first activity for our pre-discussion, okay, this is the first activity and this activity will be sent through our group chat. Isulat nyo sa papel, then picturean, or if you have the CS scanner app, it is better if you have the CS scanner app to have a clear output. Okay? Do this and this will be submitted today until tomorrow. Study the following words. Which spelling is correct? Which spelling is incorrect? Tick the appropriate box and justify your answer. So if you can see here, there are five words, which is sounds. These five words sound similar, but they are different in spelling. Now you're going to choose which one of this is correct and which one is incorrect. Okay? Just tick means put a check on corresponding column. Then you have to write your explanation, a short explanation or justification. Why do you say that this spelling number one is maybe wrong or correct, and why the spelling number two is wrong or correct? So you have to justify it. Again, the deadline for this activity will be tomorrow until 5. Anyway, you already have the copy of this, right? I sent it to you last week, so I guess you already have idea about this. But I will still give you enough time para wala kayong dahilan na hindi kayo makapag-submit. Again, isulat sa papel, picturean, or if you have laptop at home, you can encode it and send it, print screen it, or send the soft copy to our official group chat for outputs. Take note, send this output on our official group chat for output, not for the group chat for inquiry. Or don't ever send your private message sa aking messenger kasi hindi ko rin yan makikita. You only or you could only submit all of your outputs through our group chat for outputs. Please take note of that. So moving on. Now, for lesson outline, whatever people do when they come together, they talk. And you do this. As human beings, we have the agency towards the language that is comprehensible to us. When we play, we talk. When we meet our friends, we talk. And the list goes on. Communication is natural. It is innate to us human beings. Wherever we go, we communicate. Diba? And this is true. Even today, we don't have the face-to-face modality or yes, we don't have the physical appearance in our class, in meeting your friends, but communication is there. Most likely, or most importantly, when we still have the physical, physical meeting, we still have the face-to-face class, this communication really took place. Anyway, wherever we go, andyan ang communication, hindi lang when we play, di ba? When you court, when you confess to your crush, di ba? Communication is there. When you do gossip, pinachismis niyo yung kaklase niyo or yung kakilala niyo, that's communication, but it's not really advisable. And sometimes when we have gatherings with our family, with our friends, communication is there. Okay? Now, by talking, we use language. We understand our co-communicators and they understand us because we share the same system of grammar and of sounds and even vocabulary. Yes, of course. We cannot call it communication if there is no what? If there is no understanding. Communication will not be that successful if there is no understanding. Kaya, or sometimes, or most of the time, communication is effective most especially if we share the same dialect, we share the same language. For example, American people communicate to their co-American people. So it's very comprehensible. Communication is easily implied because they understand each other. One more thing, Tagalog and Tagalog people communicate to Tagalog people, or Filipino people communicate to their fellow Filipino people. Communication is there because they share the same language, they share the same sounds, and they share the same vocabulary. But how about if a Japanese people or a Japanese individual communicates to a Filipino? What will happen? Of course, there will be miscommunication, and that is actually one of the greatest barrier, the linguistic barrier, in a way that People are from different tribe and these people are from different tribe. So they merge, they communicate, and they don't understand each other. So there is no communication there because there is no interpretation, there is no comprehension, there is no understanding between these two people. Take note of that. We understand each other because we share the same system of grammar, same system of sound, and even vocabulary. Okay? Linguists agree that a language can only be called a language if it has a system of rules, the grammar, a sound systems, the phonology, and a vocabulary, the lexicon. It also the method of human communication, either spoken or written, consisting of the use of words in a structured and conventional way. Animals may be able to communicate with one another, but it is only human beings who are capable of using the system, sounds, rule, and vocabulary. In short, all human beings communicate. Lahat ng nilalang sa mundo, tao man yan, hayop, they do communicate. But the difference is only human beings have the sounds, the rules, and vocabulary. Because if we hear the bark of the dogs, di ba walang rule? It's somewhat, they are very consistent. Yung tunog ng aso ay isa lang, ow, ow, isang taho lang. But for them, it varies. May iba-iba yung siyang kahulugan, sounds, and vocabulary. But it's only for them, no? But for us human beings, we have different sounds, rules, and vocabulary. When we say beautiful, handsome, when we say beautiful, ugly, right? They have different sounds and they have different vocabulary, different meaning. Same as when you say, she is beautiful. She is beautiful. We use she as a subject, is as a linking verb, beautiful as a adjective. She is beautiful. Whereas if we use they are beautiful, so they are different when it comes to rule. Because she is beautiful, we use singular subject she. So we have the linking verb is. So it's different. And another thing is when we use they are beautiful, they is the subject and are is the verb, considering that the subject is plural. Di ba? Magkaiba sila. And that's the difference when it comes to the rules. Because learning English has something to do with rules. That's why we have the subject-verb agreement rule. Now, for our citation, okay, makinig ha, this is our citation. Give me at least one rule in subject-verb agreement and give me one example of the sentence. Okay, balik tayo. Alright, so for our citation for 30 points, give me an example of rule. We all know that you are aware of the subject-verb agreement rule, if you could still remember that in high school. I guess we have 30 rules in English. Now, for our citation for our first activity or citation, give me one example, okay, give me one example of rule and rule in subject-verb agreement and give me one example. You can submit that until 5 p.m. today. Again, you can still submit that today. Okay, I'm going to 30 points. Give at least One. One. Subject, verb, agreement in English. And give at least one one example of that rule. Okay, we have here, okay, very good, Loyola. Glenn Mark Loyola, if a subject is singular, its verb must also be singular. And that's correct, Loyola. Please write your section when you answer again. And since you have mentioned the rule, please give example. Okay, we have here Kent Manlupig, very good. Write your name after your answer, write your name and your section. So for Kent Manlupig, when two subjects are joined by and the verb is plural, very good. I guess that's rule number 2. For example, my friend and his mother are in town. Very good. Very good, Kent Manlupig and Loyola. Please kindly include your section right away. Okay, so we have here from, please include your section. Section, kasi gina-take note ko na dito. I'm taking down notes, your citation, please include your section. Oh, please. Diretso na to section. Okay. Julian, you still have to provide example. Okay. Bing, no. Crystal K, what section? What section, please? Include your, when you answer, lagay yung section sa baba kasi diretso ko na gina-encode dito. Kent Manlupig, what section? 1C. Please write your section. So very good si Kent, no? He provided complete answer. Again, ano nangyari? Play for our citation for 30 points. Since we're talking about rule here, so give at least one subject verb agreement in English and give at least one example of that rule pertaining to that rule. Okay, so for Miagar, when two singular nouns joined by and refer to, okay, same person, the captain and coach of the team has been sacked. Okay, very good, Miagar from 1B. Miagar, 30 points, very good. Yung mga mahina ang internet connection, don't worry, you could still pass that until 5 p.m. Please inform them. When the percentage of part something is mentioned with plural, the meaning verb is used. For example, 40 of every 100, okay. Galande, 1C. Galande, 30 points. Yes. Galande, 30. Mm-hmm. Yes, Loyola, 1A, 30. 30. Okay, you can submit. Pwede nyo rin submit dito mamaya para hindi magulo yung ating group chat for the output. So, kahit hanggang 5 mamaya, this video will still appear pa naman sa YouTube. So, i-comment nyo na lang dito para hindi tayo malito. Kasi ang ating GC sana is for the assessment only. Check ko muna yung output nyo para at least ma-record ko right away. Si Manlupig, I don't know anong section si Manlupig. Loyola, okay. Please include your section when you answer. Your section, your section. Arellano, 1D. 1D. 1D, I'm not your teacher in Purposive. Only for ones, BSM 1A, 1B, and 1, but okay, it's good that you answer. Kaliso, what section? Again, please include your section. Hindi ko ito ma-record, walang section. Please, 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 do include your section. Kalandep. Okay, Manlupig, section A. I'm Take note, ha, this, I forgot, I'm so sorry. I forgot to inform others. I only handle 3 section for purposive communication, and these are BS ISM 1A, BS Cream 1B, and BS Cream 1C. You have other teachers, okay? Anyway, it's good you have your advanced, no, na-advance na yung inyong discussion. Gregorio, what section? 1D, anak ko, yung mga 1D. Abdul, please, when you answer, please include example. One example, okay? Okay, Gregorio from 1C. Okay. The verb that follows a relative pronoun takes its number from the noun that precede the relative pronoun example. This is the position. Okay, wag yung iba ha. Sagot-sagot, Gregorio. Okay, Lasiste. What section si Lasiste? Kaliso, what section, Kaliso? Okay, Kaliso 1B, very good. Oh, let's flash the answer of Kaliso. When sentences start with there or here, the subject will always be placed after the verb. Some care needs to be. Okay, that's true. And example, there is a problem. There is a problem. That's actually demonstrative pronoun. No? Okay, Kaliso from just 1B. Kaliso. 30. Lasiste 1B. Okay. 1B Lasiste. At least makasave kayo ng data kasi you're not using the live one. Maron, what section, Maron? Okay, yes, that's taken. Okay, for Maron naman, when a compound subject is joined by or nor, the verb agrees with the near subject. Yes, that's true. So example, either Lisa or her friends are coming. Stick to the nearest subject to the verb. What section, Maron? Maron, what section? Hala. Nag-join yung mga 1A. Okay, kay Maron. Maron, I'm still waiting for your section. Sang section ka? Okay, Pinto. Okay, si Pinto nag-answer. So for Pinto, when two subjects are, okay, that's rule number 2. Pinto 1C. Okay, good try. Ureta. Okay, ureta is when any of few, many, several, both, or some is used. Okay, gamit na gamit sa Google, no? Gamit na gamit si Google. Kagaling-galing. Well, anyway, that's another talent, surfing in the Google Chrome. Ureta. But I hope you still remember those rules without looking or without asking the help of Google, Mr. Google. You should know this and dapat may retention tayo when it comes to rule because these rules will lead us to construct correct sentences. Okay? Ureta 30. Sino pa yung kwan? Lanciso, section ni Lanciso, compound subject. Lanciso, what section? Honasen sa GC kasi yung GC natin na yun, manlupig is for everybody. Pero I guess you have the list naman who's your teacher, di ba? Anyway, thanks for being here at least. Anyway, we only use one lessons lang. So still. Constantino. Losaria. Okay, Losaria answer. When the either and neither are subjects, they take singular verb. Example, neither of them is available to speak right now. So still, if you're using neither or nor, whether or, still, Losaria, you stick to the nearest subject to the verb. Losaria, 1C. Mm-hmm. Enilia, what section? Again, write your section after your answer. Enila. See to it ha, yung mga pangalan nilagay nyo, that's your real name. Lagay nyo talaga kasi I'm taking down notes your last name. Baka ibang last name malagay ko. You will miss 30 points. Again, you provide example of the rule and a sentence afterwards. Rosaria 1C, yes, and second Oreta, yes. Again, this class is only for BSISM 1A, BSCRIM 1B, and 1C. The rest of the sections, you have your other teachers, okay? But anyway, 1F hindi. But you can still watch this. Anyway, ito rin yung lesson kasi even you are in from different section, but we only use one book, one module. We have the same module. Okay, Maroon 1B, okay? Maroon or Maroon 30. Sino pa yung mula? Jimmer Menese, nagsagot ka na ba? I haven't seen your answer. Kawawa naman yung ibang section, no? Wala. Di ba kayo gimit ng teacher niya sa... okay, Manese, yes. Nagsagot ba si Manese? Sorry. Manese. Okay, Manese. So class, all the time, please always include your section kasi hindi ko pa kayo kilala talaga. Especially today, we are using the virtual only. We don't see each other yet in face-to-face. So you really have to include your... Donato, what section? Donato, what section? Losado, okay. Marisol Lozado. The singular verb from it's usually used for units measurement time. Yes, that's true. When we use the units or time measurement, we always stick to the singular subject. So Lozado. Bucaneg, what section? Again, include your section. Okay, Villanueva. Pag walang section, you can ma-check. Okay. When the percentage or part of something is mentioned, okay. Pag walang example ng sentence, 20 lang ha, 20 over 30. Oh. I still give you time, Villanueva, to give me an example of sentence. Pati yung 1B may nawawala. Okay, nakilusado. Bucaneg, what section, Bucaneg? Bucaneg. 1C, okay, Bucaneg 1C. Ethel Munar, what section? Walang section. Okay, Abila 1B. Abila. Mabalot. Okay. Mabalot is 1B. Let's see your answer first before I'm gonna give my verdict to your answer. Nakasend ka na ba mabalot ng sagot mo? Marjorie Cabrobias, please write your section. Kung walang section, di ko yan ma-check. No section, no points. Hindi ko man makita kung saan ko ilagay ang sagot niyo. I bring my class record here. Okay, Labordo. Okay, very good, Labordo. Labordo is... Dalawa pa lang yung na-check ko from BSISM. Loyola and Labordo pa lang. Saan yung iba? Maron 1B, yes. Maron. Grabe si Maron. Okay, so very good. Rollo. Some nouns, while plural in form, are actually in singular example. Okay, mathematics. Mathematics, these are words which is this word, mathematics, statistics, physics. This word or these words are plural in meaning, plural in form, but singular in meaning. Rollo. Tatlo pa lang sa BSISM. Rollo 30. Don't worry ha, pwede kayo balikan lahat. Okay, Calixtro. Beginning with here, blah, there are 4. Okay, Calixtro, okay, from 1B. Calixtro. Again, don't worry yung mga wala pang signal, please inform them. They could still comment until 5 p.m. Retardo, what section si Retardo? O sige, just comment down again. Comment down with your name. With your name and section for you to be graded. Continue na tayo sa discussion natin na. Let's continue with our discussion. Just comment down your answer and I'll be checking that one. Okay? Comment down with your name and section for you to be graded. Okay. Said 1C. 30. Eder. Use singular verb, blah, 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 example. Okay. Eder from 1B. Okay, very good. Ang 1B, marami nang nag-recite and 1 from 1C. Parcon. Okay. Indefinite pronouns like put, many, blah, blah, example. Both are in love with music. Yes. That takes plural. Okay, that's true. Parcon from 1B. Parcon. Alcantara, yes, it's true. Jacob Spencer, what's your last name, Jacob? Please again include your section. Okay. Jacob. Okay. When two singular nouns joined by, okay. Pillion. Kaya nag-take note na ako ngayon ng mga recitation nyo para malaman ko sinong always nag-online. Parcon, yes. Coded. Pila S, 1C. Pila S. Navarra. Sorry, kung hindi ko section. Madagia. Nakasagot ka na ba, Madagia? Eder. Okay na si Eder. Retardo. Anong section ka, Retardo? Retardo. Paging Retardo. Madagia, nakasagot ka na ba? Okay, Trabilia. Yes, Trabilia from 1B. Trabilia. Mm-hmm. Retardo, anong section? Please always include your section, guys, for you to be graded. You will not be graded if you will not include your last name. Parang din ako maghanap sa class record, where Labordo. Okay, Labordo. When the percentage of part, yes, Labordo, okay. Yan pa lang, oh. Yan. From ESISM, tatlo pa lang. 1C, yan. And from 1B, medyo marami-rami ng 1B yan. Very good 1B. Yeah, 30. Pag sentence and example, direct 30. Marunong kayo na marunong, take note ko na yung name. Cathedral, the number of subject, okay, that's good. Cathedral from 1B. Very good ang 1B, marami sila. Cathedral, ang bilis-bilis ang okay, ito naman. Marlon, Manting. Two subjects yun by R and are plural, yes. Anna and Dave are quite different. Okay. Mantiquilla from 1C. Mantiquilla. Mantiquilla. Lanciso. Yes, kaya na pa ako naganap kay Lanciso. Okay, Lanciso. Okay na si Lanciso. Lanciso 30. Yung iba, wala pa yung iba. Okay, si Giang. Let's flash his answer. It is said that if the subject is singular, the verb following should be singular too. Yes, that's rule number 1. And that this is the cornerstone of the rule. If the subject, then verb should be plural likewise. Example, they want to a toy every year. John, Angel, Giang, ice cream. Okay. 1C. Blessy, yes. Thank you, Blessy. Montero. Montero from Kwan Kylo from Section A. Again, I'm not your teacher in in purposive communication, guys. Patricia, if the subject is singular, the verb must be singular too. Okay, she writes every day. Okay. Patricia from 1C. Patricia. Montero. Abila 1B. Okay na siya, Abila. Abila. Okay. Ukanay, okay na. Okay. Patricio. Okay na siya, Patricio. Just comment down lang tayo. Anyway, lahat yan mabasa natin mamaya. Okay? Just listen and continue answering. Okay? Balik na tayo sa discussion natin. So again, in communication, only humans have or are capable of using a sound, rules, and vocabulary. So yeah, when you say vocabulary, these are group of words, the synonyms, the antonyms, the sounds, your phonology, how you enunciate word, how your diction is being done, your intonation, your rising falling intonation, that sound. Whereas for the rules naman, of course, we have here the grammar. That's why earlier I asked you um, to give me one example of rule and its example. Again, those who haven't submitted their output for citation, you could still send it until 5 p.m. this afternoon. Please inform others to submit theirs until 5 p.m. for citation only. But other requirements or other activities will have its corresponding due date, and that will be posted. I'll be posting it on our group chat later. Okay, now let's continue. People belonging to the same speech community understand each other due to the same set of rules present in their language system. This is true. When you are living in an Ilocano place, then you are all Ilocano, of course. You understand each other because you are used to do it and you share the same words, most probably. They acquire the languages used in the community through the process of language acquisition. The process of language acquisition, this is the process, or this is the, a kind of process where we acquire, we get, or we learn the dialect of others. For example, you visit the place of Japanese or a place of Ilonggo, then you are not Ilonggo. As you go along, you acquire their language. You learn how to greet, good morning, mayong aga, although you're not an Ilonggo. So that process is an example of language acquisition. From the word itself, language acquisition, from the root word acquired, means language acquired. How do you acquire language, or how do you learn language? And some studies reveal that in language acquisition daw, mas mabilis matuto yung mga bata kumpara sa matanda. For example, uh, when you bring a child in, for example, yung bata na yun, your tribe is Ilonggo, then you bring your children, or you migrated in some places wherein it's a Muslim area or a Tiboli area. So, expected, no, yung bata, for example, yung bata nyo from 5 years old and above, is they are most likely fast learner in acquiring language compared sa mga matatanda. And that's actually proven, no? Proven yan siya. Kaya pansinin niyo yung mga kapatid niyo when you bring them somewhere, or when they are surrounded with their friends having different dialect or language, most probably they acquired or they adapt the language of their playmates because of the fact na mas mabilis matuto ang mga bata when it comes to language acquisition. Now, the languages acquired by people while growing up are known as mother tongues. Of course, your language at home, your dialect at home, when you were born, for example, you're speaking Teduray in your place because you're Teduray, so your first language is Teduray. When you're speaking Ilonggo at your home, Ilocano, Maguindanaon, and that's your first language or your mother tongue. Kaya 'di ba sa elementary meron tayong mother tongue, kaya tinuturo na sa mga bata the subject matter using Ilonggo, that's actually mother tongue, no? Or your first language. Other languages which are of equal importance for communication are called second language, which can be learned formally or informally through the process of language learning. So most probably yung ating second language is English. Because if we observe, kasi ang Filipino, that's understood na national language natin yan. Our first language is our mother tongue, and our second language is English. Because we probably learn English. Because sometimes, there are times na mas madali i-learn yung ating national language, yung Filipino or yung Tagalog. but our second language is English. That's the language learned after first language, of course, after ang first, followed by second. Now, through language contact, people also learn other languages and get meanings across. For instance, an OFW who speaks mother tongue and English and his or her employer who speaks Mandarin and English still manage to understand each other as they learn each other's languages. This results into language change. In other words, a new form of language emerges. Okay, this is the good thing is, for example, in our OFW, si nanay mo ngayon, Tagalog siya or Ilocana, but she knows how to speak English. Then yung amo niya ngayon is Mandarin Chinese, pero marunong mag-English. So, yun yung kinagandahan niya. Since they use their second language which they acquired, so nagkaroon ngayon ng communication, nagkaroon ng understanding between them, kasi nga, both of them, they know how to speak and understand English, although they have different mother tongue or they have different first languages. That's why it is really obligatory to learn English, especially when you work abroad. Even you're not working in American country, but you still have to learn English. Kasi nga, may mga Japanese, mga Spanish, mga American, mga Korean that they know how to speak English. So at least, kung hindi ka ngayon marunong gumamit ng kalang lingwahe, at least you can communicate with them using English and they could also communicate to you using English and not their first language. So that makes English as our international language, or it's the lingua franca. English is called the lingua franca or the international language because English is being used internationally. Whether you are from different archipelagos, we use English. Okay. Now, moving on. By this at hand, it is argued that language is always dynamic. When we say dynamic, there is a change. Pabago-bago. Okay? So, it always changes as people exercise their agency towards it. What you did in the pre-discussion, part of this chapter is one of example where language varies across culture. Okay? So napansin niyo sa first activity natin kanina, they have the same pronunciation, the word airplane, airplane, honor, honor. They have the same spelling, but they have the same sounds, and I guess they have the same meaning. Anyway, I will not tell it yet because you still wanted or you still obliged to answer them. Now, as a summary, language is a human capacity that consists of a system of rules, that is the grammar, and number two, a sound system, the phonology, and C is the vocabulary or the lexicon. While growing up in a community, people acquire the languages used by those in the community. This is the process of language acquisition. Yun ang sinabi ko kanina. When you're exposed to other communities having different language, you might acquire their dialect or their language. And that's a process of language acquisition. Now, the languages acquired while growing up are known as mother tongue, which may also be referred to as first languages. So the dialect or the languages we have when we were born at home with our parents, that is our first language or our mother tongue, basically. Other than first languages, there are other languages that are needed for various reasons. Anyway, as we go along, we learn a lot of languages, not only our first language, not only the second language, but we also tend to learn other languages. That's why there are some Filipinos who are good in Mandarin Chinese. They know how to speak Spanish, no? Because that is what? That is all we need, especially for various reasons. And most of the reasons of this is our employment. Kaya minsan, if you want to work in Japan, you have to learn Nihongo. If you want to work in Spain, you have to learn Spanish. Kaya sa mga OWA na yan, sa mga dole, they actually have a session or class intended for the employers or the employees for the FW to learn basic lesson about Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, because that is a requirement, especially for our employment. Okay? These other languages are referred to as second language. So all the languages we tend to learn after our first language, that be considered as second language. But then, most probably, the language that we actually learn after our first language is English. Kaya binansagan talagang English na second language and international language. Because after we learn our mother tongue, basically, natutunan natin is English. So that's our second language. Now, people learn their second languages in school, yes. That's why most of your teachers, they tend to speak English. That's why in my subject, I also require you to speak English because that's another learning under our subject matter because second languages can be learned through school. This is the process of language learning. In our interaction with other people, our languages come into contact with their languages, resulting in language change. Language change is a natural behavior of all languages. So ito yung nangyayari, nagkaroon ng language change. Kaya minsan nagkaroon ng bilingual. Anong bilingual? Minsan nahalo yung Tagalog sa Ilonggo. Sabi mo, magkadto ka dito. O, di ba? Kumusta ikaw? O, di ba? Minsan, we use mix-up. We sometimes use bilingual. And that's actually resulting from our exposure to other languages. Minsan may Taglish na. I heart you, pare. Oh, that's another example of bilingual. Especially if we don't aware or especially if we don't know the words we use after our utterance. Minsan gumagamit tayo ng ibang word na, for example, Ilonggo ka, then you speak Tagalog and you don't know the term. You actually use your own term. Kumbaga nag-mix up ka na. And actually, that's another example of exposure when you are exposed with other languages. Kaya it has been said here that language change is a natural behavior of all languages. Of course, hindi naman natin masabi that we only use our language. When we apply for a job, we encounter different people with different languages. Kaya minsan, nag-iiba yung ating dialect. Then minsan, ikaw is, for example, Ilonggo ka din nakapag-asawa ka ng Maguindanawon or Tagalog or Ilocano, most probably, there is a change in your language. Especially when your husband or your wife bring you to their place and their place is dominant with Ilocano or Ilonggo, even you're not Ilonggo or Ilocano. So, you are really required to acquire the language and because it's your only way to communicate with them. Alangan naman magtatagalog ka, then you are being brought to a Maguindanawon place or community, di ba? How can you communicate with them if you stick with your own dialect or language? Okay? So, ganun. And that's natural. Okay, yung assessment natin, I'm going to send it to our group chat. So, we have here assessment. 1. Check your understanding of the input by answering the following questions. Take note, when we are doing essay, wag nyo ko bigyan ng one sentence lang, ha? 1. What is the difference between language acquisition and language learning? So, ano yung pagkakaiba ng language learning at sa language acquisition? 2. What is the difference between the first language and second language? 3. What happens after a language comes into contact with another? And you have to do this concretizing. Create your language biography by filling in the language variable below. So yan, you have to answer this. How many languages do you speak? Identify what is or okay. Ganun. Then number 2, we have to, after filling the table above, write a paragraph that tells you of your story of your languages. So dito, my language biography, say something about your language. For example, Ilocano ka, Ilonggo, ano ka, Chinese. You have to say something, explain, tell something about your dialect, about your tribe, about your own languages at home. Okay? And for this one, in this lesson, I learned that as a human being, ito naman, I should understand that language it is your own understanding. What is your realization? Ano yung na-realize mo about learning language? So, that ends our discussion. Balik tayo sa ating. Now, let's see if there are sort of question. Now, any question? So, you have activity. So, yung isa yung essay na isa-submit nyo. Okay, I'll just send it through our group chat later. Anyway, I will give you enough time naman. I will give you enough time, no? Enough time to submit. But the recitation for the subject-verb rule agreement, you're only allowed that to send until 5 p.m., okay? But other assessment activities, I will give corresponding due date for that. And again, I will not force you to pass it right away. You are given enough time for that para maging maganda yung output naman. Okay, may question. Sige, mag-invite ako. If you have question, you can comment it down or click the link that I sent here. You may click the link I sent here. Click the link I sent and I will entertain your question. Okay. Mag-check muna ako while waiting for your answer. Again, Pinto, I will just give the deadline later sa ating group chat. Okay? So, De La Cruz from 1B. Yes, title of books. Yes, that's actually singular. 1B. So, sino may tanong? Pag may tanong, please click the link that I sent. Click the link. 1B De La Cruz. Princess. Okay. If you have question, pwede nyo mag-comment down yung question nyo. Princess Lauren de la Cruz. Laureta. Laureta from... If the subjects are joined, okay. Laureta, parang na-check ko na kay Laureta. Ay, wala, not yet. Laureta. Laureta Abelos. Best cream B1, 1B siguro Abelos pinto, okay. My cousin and I are dancing. Abelos is 1B. Again, ang deadline sa next activity, isend ko lang sa GC nyo. Again, I will give you 1 week naman. 1 week na palugid. Since every week lang kasi ang discussion natin, so tayong. When you sing or no, yes, that's true. Tayong. Anong section mo, Villanueva? Best cream 1, ano? 1 what? Masulot 1C. James is playing. Okay, masulot. Kabaya. Anong section mo, Kabaya? Kabaya, anong section? Constantino. De Salos. Ablan. 1C. Kailangan ko kayo take note yan. Constantino, okay na. Uh-huh. Kapitana. Ano, kapitana, Japitana. Dasalia, what section? Okay, 1B, Dasalia. Mamalo, 1A. Mamalo. Mamalo, Mira. Mamalo. Pindasan. Villanueva, 1C. Generosa. Loyola. Okay, okay na Loyola. Na-check ko na. Pendon. Ablan. Okay, kay Ablan. Del Rosario. Britney Spears. Cousin. Britney Menor. Menor, anong section mo, Menor? Ay, nako. Leslie Abila, okay na sa'yo, Abila. Patricio. Minor, I don't know your section, Minor. Okay ba na ba? Okay na. Burt Bartal. Pelaes. Okay na kay Pelaes. Okay na si Pelaes. Okay, okay na, Trabila. Please inform others yung ating recitation. Yung question is, give one example of subject-verb rule agreement. I-comment nila dito. Mamaya kahit mag-out na ako. Then, magbigay ng isang example for 30 points. So, ito pa lang yung mga nalista ko. Medyo marami-rami na sa 1B. Yan. Always ko nalista yung name nyo para diretso na tayo. Then, as to the assessment or the activity for your assessment, Okay, sa lisip. Bakit may mga 1F dito? Let me reiterate ha. Uh, I only handle 3 sections for purposive communication. BSISM 1A, BSCRIM 1B, and 1C. Sa lisip, sa lisip, you have teacher in purposive. I will not be your teacher in purposive, unfortunately. Baka i-contact mo kayo ng teacher niyo one of these days. But then, you can still watch my video naman. Pwede kayo makasabay din. Malay niyo ako rin para maging teacher niyo. Because wala pang teacher kasi. But we still have the arrangement pa kasi. Nag-arrange pa kami ng load. Sangki, what section Sangki? Kaluya 1B. If the subjects are joined by N, please include your section again and again. Kaluya, 30 points. Okay. Cabrobias. Cabrobias. 30. Okay na yung sa lisip. At least you have your prior knowledge. Villanueva, okay na siya. Villanueva, na-check ko na. Kaluya 1B. Okay. Rihan Sangki, give example and your section. Trabilia, yes, okay na Trabilia, recorded na. Joliben Agustin, I am not your teacher in purposive. Abubakar, please ask your classmate na lang Abubakar or pwede mo i-previews itong video na to, makita mo din ito, ikwan mo lang. So again, thank you so much for being here, my dear students. Please, I'll see you next meeting. Our next meeting will be next week na naman yung ating live. But I'll be sending our soft copy of the module so you can join with our discussion in our group chat. Okay, minor. Sige, pahabol. Minor. Okay. Pinto. Anong section mo, Pinto? Pinto, anong section mo? Richard Pinto. Sangki is the dog walks down. Okay, Sangki. Oo, na-check ko naman yung bago mo, Juan Vincent. Okay na yan. Pinto, anong section mo, Richard? Pinto? Check ko kung recording ko to. Okay na, Pinto, 1C. Okay na. Okay na, Richard. Huwag ka nang mag-alala. Again, please inform others yung mga hindi nakapag-live na yon. Please tell them to watch this video later and comment down their answer. Please, especially those acting president of the team, please inform others na mag-watch sila ng live na to mamaya. Anyway, this will be posted and don't ever forget to comment down their answer on the comment section. And the deadline for the assessment activities, I'll be sending it through our group chat. Okay, thank you so much. See you next meeting. God bless everybody. Wala kang section, Egno. Egno, wala kang section. Always write your section. Okay, 1A. Kaya mag-submit pa dyan. Okay na, red minor, na-check ko na. Okay, goodbye everyone. God bless. Sa group chat na lang tayo discussed.